Take a slow breath right now, the kind that tells your body you can soften. Let your shoulders drop a little. Let your tongue rest in your mouth. Even if your day has been loud, let this moment be quiet, because you've been carrying something heavy, not just tasks or responsibilities or plans, a way of living that says, if I don't push, nothing will happen. A way of living that says, if I relax, I'll fall behind. And you may be tired of it in a place you can't fully explain. I want you to know, with deep tenderness, that you are not wrong for trying so hard. You learned to survive. You learned to be strong. And now you're learning something even braver. You're learning to receive. Effortless prosperity doesn't begin with more effort. It begins with less inner resistance, with less self-attack, with a softer grip on life. So I'm going to give you the core practice right away, simply, so you can feel the shift instead of only thinking about it. Breathe in gently through your nose. And as you breathe out, relax your jaw. Relax the tiny muscles around your eyes. Now place one hand over your heart or your belly, wherever your body says here, and whisper softly, like you're speaking to someone you love. I release the need to struggle. I release the need to force. I am safe to receive. I am worthy of support. I am open to prosperity in forms that truly nourish me. Let those words land like warm water, not as a demand, as permission. Now notice what happens when you say, I am safe to receive. If you feel softness, wonderful. If you feel a tightness, a doubt, a small voice saying, not me, that's okay too. Don't argue with it. Just place kindness there. You can say, I hear you, we're learning, you're allowed to relax. And if it helps, imagine something simple. Imagine your life as a home with windows. When you live in struggle, you keep the windows hot because you're trying to control the weather. But when you begin to trust, you crack one window open. Not to invite chaos, to invite fresh air. Effortless prosperity is that fresh air. It doesn't have to arrive as a storm. It can arrive as a soft breeze that clears your mind, lifts your chest, and reminds you that you are not alone. Many people misunderstand effortless. They think it means doing nothing. But effortless prosperity isn't laziness. It's alignment. It's action without force. It's movement without self-violence. Think of a river. It moves forward, but it doesn't scream at the rocks. It finds a path. It flows. It trusts its own intelligence. Force feels like pushing a locked door with your shoulder. Alignment feels like noticing the door is already open, just quietly waiting for you to step through. Here's a gentle way to tell the difference in your own life. When you're in force, your breath becomes shallow. Your thoughts sound urgent. Your body feels like it's bracing. When you're aligned, there is focus, yes, but also space. You can feel your feet. You can hear yourself think. You can take the next step without punishing yourself. So the moment you notice force, pause just for a few seconds. Breathe out slowly and say, I choose alignment over struggle. I choose presence over panic. I choose to be supported. Then ask one practical question. What is the next kind step? Not the biggest step, not the perfect step, the next kind step. This one question can change your life because it keeps your power without draining your spirit. Now let's bring in a simple visualization to help your system understand receiving. Close your eyes for a moment if that feels safe. Imagine a gentle, warm light above you, like morning sun through curtains. It doesn't push, it doesn't demand, it simply shines. Now imagine that light moving slowly down, settling around your head, your throat, your chest, your belly. As it moves, it loosens what's been gripping. It reminds your body, you can open. And when you're ready, imagine your hands opening, palms facing up, like you're willing to be surprised by support. Not begging, not chasing, simply available. Stay with that for one breath. Then return to this moment, carrying that softness with you. Now let's talk about why struggle can feel so sticky. For many people, struggle became familiar, and what's familiar can feel safe, even when it hurts. Somewhere along the way, you may have learned that ease is suspicious, that rest is risky, that receiving is something you have to apologize for. If that's been your pattern, you're not alone, and you're not broken, you're conditioned. Perhaps you've experienced this. You finally have a smooth week. Things feel lighter. You start to breathe again, and then a part of you begins scanning for the next problem. It's like your body can't trust calm. You might think, something's about to go wrong. So you tighten your grip again, as if tension could prevent pain. That part of you is trying to protect you. So instead of shaming it, reassure it. Thank you for watching out for me. And we're practicing a new way now. It is safe to have peace. Prosperity begins when your body can tolerate goodness. When you can let a good thing be a good thing. When you can receive without immediately preparing for loss. And receiving is a muscle. You build it in small, ordinary moments. Receive a compliment without dismissing it. Receive help without explaining why you shouldn't need it. Receive rest without proving you earned it. Receive a simple pleasure, a warm drink, a clean bed, a quiet evening, without guilt. Here's a little scene you might recognize. Someone says, "You did a great job," and you immediately respond, "Oh, it was nothing," or "Anyone could have done it." In that instant, your hands close. You push the gift away. Not because you're ungrateful, but because receiving feels exposed. Try something different next time. Let the compliment sit in your chest for one breath. And simply say, "Thank you." Notice how your body reacts. If it feels awkward, that's okay. Awkward is just unfamiliar. and unfamiliar becomes comfortable with practice. Each time you receive in a small way, you teach your subconscious, support exists and I can stay open. And that openness begins to shape your reality because you start to notice opportunities you would have dismissed. You start to accept help you would have refused. You start to make choices from worthiness instead of fear. Now, I want to be very clear about something. Prosperity isn't only money. It can show up as time, helpful people, unexpected opportunities, clearer ideas, creative energy, solutions, the right conversation at the right moment. Sometimes what you need arrives as relief, not as a number. Sometimes it arrives as a door opening. Sometimes it arrives as you finally trusting yourself enough to walk away from what drains you. So let's bring this into real life with a few scenes you might recognize. Maybe you sit down to work, your career, your business, your creative project, and instantly you feel pressure. Every sentence must be perfect. Every decision must fix everything. And before you begin, you're already tired. That pressure is force, and force blocks flow. Now imagine something simpler. You breathe. You soften your shoulders. You tell yourself, I don't have to force a masterpiece. I can take one honest step. And you do one small piece, one paragraph, one email, one call. You finish calmer than you started. You feel clearer. You can return without dread. That is aligned effort. That is prosperity energy. Or perhaps you check your finances and feel that familiar drop in your stomach. Your mind starts racing, calculating, blaming. Scarcity becomes not just a situation, but a story. I'm failing. I'm behind. I'll never catch up. But you are not your current numbers. You are not your current circumstances. You are a living being with creative power. So in that moment, try meeting yourself with respect. Breathe. And say, okay, love, this is what we see today. We don't have to panic. We can take one wise step, and we can stay open to support. Then take the next kind step, practical and clear. Maybe you review, simplify, plan, ask questions, seek guidance, and at the same time you release shame, because shame doesn't create prosperity. Shame creates hiding, and hiding blocks solutions. Prosperity loves clarity. Prosperity loves honesty. Prosperity loves self-respect. Here's another scene. Maybe you've tried to manifest before, and it started to feel like another job. More techniques, more rituals, more pressure. Even your quiet practices became a place to perform, and you felt guilty when you couldn't keep it up. If that's you, let your shoulders soften. You don't have to earn approval from life. You don't have to be perfect at receiving. Sometimes the most powerful shift is this: I stop trying to wrestle the future. I show up today. I take a kind step, and I allow support to meet me. Allowing doesn't mean you do nothing. It means you stop fighting the present You stop saying, "This shouldn't be happening," and instead you say, "This is where I am, and I can move from here." That acceptance is not giving up. It's opening the door. And here's a tender one, because it touches the heart. Perhaps you've been the strong one for a long time, the one who handles everything, the one who doesn't ask, the one who keeps going. When you live like that, receiving can feel unfamiliar, even embarrassing. You might think, "I don't want to be a burden," but you are allowed to be supported. Support doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Imagine a candle that keeps lighting other candles. It's beautiful, but it still needs protection from wind. It still needs wax. It still needs rest. You're allowed to keep your own flame steady. Now let's touch the root beneath all of this: worthiness. Because struggle often lives there. A part of you may believe, "If I don't suffer, I don't deserve," or "If I receive, I'm taking from others," or "If it's easy, it must be wrong." Those beliefs are not truth. They are old agreements, and you can release them gently. Sometimes this work looks like meeting your shadow with love. The shadow isn't evil. It's simply the part of you that learned fear. It's the part that says, "Don't get your hopes up," because it remembers disappointment. So when you start to open to prosperity, that part might whisper, "It won't last," not to ruin you, to protect you. So you hold that part like you'd hold a trembling bird. You don't squeeze it. You don't throw it away. You say, "I understand why you're scared." And you don't have to run the whole show anymore. We can be hopeful and grounded at the same time. Try speaking to yourself like a loving guide would. I am worthy because I exist. I do not have to bleed to be blessed. I can be responsible and still be relaxed. I can be ambitious and still be kind to myself. I can create a beautiful life without punishing my body. Let those sentences settle. Notice what your body says. If it resists, it's only asking for reassurance. You can say, "It's okay, we're not forcing, we're practicing." Now, let's make prosperity practical with a simple rhythm you can return to. When you wake up, before your mind starts solving problems, place a hand on your heart and say, "Today I choose ease where ease is available. Today I allow support to find me. Today I take kind steps and I release forcing. Today I am open to prosperity that feels peaceful in my body." Then, as you move through your day, watch for the moment you start to grip. It might be in your tone. It might be in your shoulders. It might be in your breath. And when you catch it, smile, because noticing is success. Whisper, "Softening now." Then take the next kind step and listen for small guidance. Sometimes your intuition will nudge you to send one message, make one call, update one page, take one walk, drink water, rest your eyes. These small nudges are not random. They are the gentle current of your life guiding you toward better alignment. Prosperity often comes through simple directions, not dramatic signs. Here's one more scene that can be very revealing. An opportunity appears, an invitation, a collaboration, a chance to apply, a client reaching out, a door that looks like what you've asked for. And instead of excitement, you feel a wave of tension. Your mind says, I'm not ready, or I'll mess it up, or if this works, I'll have to keep working at this level forever. So you stall. You overthink. You try to control the outcome before it even begins. That's not lack of desire. That's fear of expansion. And it's so common for people who have learned to equate success with pressure. So when that happens, come back to the body. Breathe out. Feel your feet. And ask, what would it look like to meet this with ease? Maybe it's replying with simplicity instead of a perfect message. Maybe it's taking one step and letting the next step reveal itself. Maybe it's allowing help, asking a question, negotiating kindly, or setting a boundary that keeps you grounded. Expansion can be gentle. Prosperity does not have to arrive like a tidal wave. It can arrive like a steady stream. And in those moments, a small gratitude practice can shift your frequency without pretending. Not gratitude as performance, but gratitude as presence. Look for one true support already here, your breath, your skills, a friend, a lesson you've learned, a small comfort in your home. Let yourself feel it for one breath. This tells your inner world, I am not alone, I am being held. From that state, you make better choices. You speak more clearly. You attract experiences that match that steadiness. Remember, this isn't about pretending you never feel doubt. It's about not building a home inside doubt. Your thoughts are like soil. When you speak to yourself with harshness, you plant tension. When you speak to yourself with kindness, you plant possibility. So when you catch the old voice saying, push harder, try answering, I can move forward with softness, not forcing but allowing, not proving but trusting, not chasing but receiving. And the more you practice this, the more natural it feels, like breathing without thinking about every breath. This is how you move forward without burning out. This is how you become consistent without becoming cruel. And yes, fear may still visit you. You might think, if I relax, I'll lose momentum, or if I feel good, I'll jinx it, or if I receive more, people will resent me. These are protective thoughts, not prophecies. So meet them with compassion. Thank you for trying to protect me. And we are choosing a new way now. We can receive and stay wise. We can prosper and stay kind. Now I want to guide you through a short affirmation stream you can return to whenever struggle rises. Read it slowly or let it wash through you. I release the belief that life must be hard. I release the habit of rushing. I release the need to control every outcome. I release the idea that I must prove my value. I choose alignment. I choose clarity. I choose calm action. I choose decisions that respect my energy. I am open to solutions. I am open to supportive connections. I am open to opportunities that match my values. I am open to prosperity that nourishes my nervous system. I am safe to receive. I am worthy of support. I am allowed to let it be easier. And as you practice, you may notice subtle shifts. You may feel less reactive. You may feel more patient with yourself. You may start to see options where you used to see walls. You may notice that you say no more cleanly and yes more confidently. You may notice that you stop chasing what doesn't choose you. Those are signs of alignment. Those are signs that you're becoming a match for a more effortless life. Take a breath and feel what those words create. Even a small exhale is a sign your system is learning. And now, one final practical key: space. Prosperity needs a place to land. If your life is packed, if your mind is crowded, if your body is depleted, more can feel like pressure. So you create space with gentleness. Space might be going to bed earlier. Space might be saying no to one unnecessary obligation. Space might be cleaning up one loose end so your mind can rest. Space might be turning off noise for an hour. Space might be feeding yourself well. Space might be choosing one boundary that honors your peace. You don't have to overhaul everything. You just make room. And room invites flow. So as you step back into your life, remember this truth. You don't attract more by tightening your grip. You attract more by opening your hands. You don't have to fight for your life to get better. You can let it get gentler, one breath, one thought, one kind step at a time. May you release the old belief that struggle is required. May you feel your body soften into safety. May you trust your inner guidance more and more. May you receive support in forms that truly nourish you. And may prosperity find you in ways that feel peaceful, aligned, and real. Take one more slow breath. Let your shoulders drop. And quietly inside your heart, say, I release the need to struggle. I am open to effortless prosperity. And I am worthy now.